welcome to another beautiful edition of Newspaper Review from the studios of Emirate Radio. Emirate Radio is located behind the Federal Ministry of Environment of Ojebaru in Kwara State, Nigeria. As you know, we bring to you different kind of stories from different kind of newspaper in Nigeria, from the daily newspaper, Daily Post newspaper, Leadership newspaper, the Nation newspaper, and
also the Guardian newspaper.
So we are starting from the Punch newspaper this morning, or the Daily Post newspaper. ASU strike grounds academic activities in Nigerian universities.
Heading to the Punch newspaper, Makinde warns Wike camp against stopping PDP conviction.
From the Leadership newspaper, broom scarcity eats Enugu over Mba's defection.
Still glued to Punch newspaper, Oyebanje paid 2 billion naira gratuity to 800 retirees.
From the Leadership newspaper, 2 suspected human traffickers arrested.
Moving to the Daily Post newspaper, Tinubu presidential pardon triggers public outrage.
From the Leadership newspaper as well, Cross River Varsity lecturers to join strike.
Also on Daily Post newspaper, NAS release program for nationwide protests.
Moving to the Nation newspaper, First Lady gets Qatar Foundation green light for Almajiris out of school children's education.
On the Guardian newspaper, NAS proposed November 2026 for next general elections.
Finally, on the Nation,
we are not intimidated by no work, no pay threat. Say varsity.
Back, we are going to take the news stories in full.
Your everyday companion, your feel-good radio, your ultimate radio station, Emirate Radio Nigeria.
Welcome back from that short break. Starting from the daily newspaper this morning, ASU strike grounds academic activities in Nigerian universities. Academic activities were grounded in most public universities across the country on Monday, following full compliance by the members of the Academic Staff Union of University ASU with the ongoing 2-week warning strike. The renewed face-off between the ASU and the federal government came after negotiation aimed at preventing another prolonged shutdown of public universities failed. On October 10, the Minister of State for Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, said the government was in final phase of talks with aggrieved lecturers and other university-based unions on resolved outstanding issues related to welfare, funding, and implementation of the 2009 ASU FGN agreement. Alausa noted that the Tinubu administration had made notable progress, including the release of 50 billion naira for earned academic allowances and the inclusion of 150 billion in the 2025 budget for needs assessment to be disbursed in 3 tranches. Both ASU disclosed after the meeting that the government presented to them a document that was totally aligned to issues discussed at plenary, particularly the item on conditions of service. In order include release of outstanding third-party deductions as pension deductions, check-up dues, and cooperative contributions, funding for revitalizing of public universities, and payment of arrears of 20% to 35% salary award for 12 months. ASU strike disrupts examinations in university. Students lament. We are ready to resume talk as residents.
They are ready to resume. They want the federal government to give them what they want.
Federal government already said no work, no pay. So it's left to them to try and re-strategize.
And on the Punch newspaper, Makinde warns Wike camp against stopping PDP convention. Oyo State Governor Makinde has warned those attempting to disrupt preparation for the People Democratic Party forthcoming national convention slated for November 15th and 16th in Ibadan, Oyo State. describing such effort as an attempt to stop a moving train and add a liken to political suicide. Makinde, who spoke with newsmen yesterday, shortly after inaugurating the PDP National Convention Transportation Subcommittee in Abuja, pledged that Oyo State will deliver the best convention in the party history. Following months of internal turmoil with the PDP, several prominent politicians have aligned with the African Democratic Congress-led opposition coalition ahead of the 2027 general election. Those who have joined the coalition include former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former Senate President David Mark, and ex-presidential aspirant Dele Momodu. At the same time, the ruling All Progressive Congress has attracted a number of PDP leaders, notably Akwa Ibom Governor Imo Eno, Delta State Governor Sheriff Oborevori, and the party 2023 Vice Presidential candidate Ifeanyi Okowa, with the PDP National Elective Convention set to hold in Ibadan on November 15-16. There are indications that Enugu State Governor Peter Umba and Bayelsa State Governor Oyerinde might also defect to the APC before the effects. So, PDP, I don't know what to say to this.
Let's just.
They're really defecting to APC now.
Everybody, I saw the news yesterday and I was like,
Well, if you just wait for the convention, so you know what
to say
is it
from
all
there.
about.
Moving to the leadership newspaper this morning, broom scarcity eats Enugu over Umba's defection. Broom scarcity has hit Enugu and sellers are having a field day following the defection of Enugu State Governor Dr. Peter Umba from the PDP to the APC. A visit to various markets in Enugu observed that many people have entered the business as the original sellers lacked the capacity to meet the demands. The broom is the official symbol of the APC and party faithful use of it during rallies, defections and registrations. PDP members who are expected to defeat with the Enugu State Governor are expected to carry brooms during the ceremony of their defection. The development has led to a serious boom in the broom business in different parts of Enugu. Some of the sellers who spoke to newsmen expressed gratitude to Governor Umba over his decision to join the APC. A trader who identified himself as Obina Maduagu said he had been smiling to the bank since the rumor of the defection started. Another broom seller at Kenyatta Market, Mrs. Ifoma Obigeri, expressed happiness that Peter Umba defection has blessed broom sellers at Kenyatta Market and other markets. She said a new and old stock finished that morning when some persons believed to be PDP members came to clear the entire broom. Similarly, at the popular artisan market, a broom seller, Mrs. Grace Okeke, said, "How I wish this kind of political events that will take place tomorrow would be happening in Enugu daily. As I speak with you, I don't have a single broom because the APC people came to clear all the brooms for their event tomorrow."
So now broom is now the most
selling now.
So everybody that
best
maybe
seller.
should go and buy broom so that will start selling.
No, it's in Enugu now. I think if now they are in short of brooms, they can come and order from Kwara State. We have
a lot here.
Oh my God.
Stiglitz of Punch newspaper, Oyerinde pays 2 billion naira gratuity to 800 retirees. Ekiti State Governor Biodun Oyerinde yesterday disbursed 2 billion naira as gratitude to 800 retirees, reaffirming his administration's commitment to the welfare of senior citizens in the state. Oyerinde, represented by the Deputy Governor Mrs. Monisade Afuye, made the presentation in Ado-Ekiti, the state capital, saying that nothing gave him greater joy as a leader than wiping tears from the faces of helpless citizens. The governor disclosed that with the latest payment, his administration has so far spent 14.6 billion naira on gratuities and 25 billion naira on pensions in the last 3 years. He said that as of September 2025, 10,000 retirees were on the state pension payroll and receiving their entitlements regularly. Part of his administration welfare drive, he added, included a 20 million naira upward review of monthly pension across all categories. According to him, all the 2013-2016 retirees have now been paid in full, while a monthly release of 100 million naira for gratuity payments continues to provide wider coverage. The head of service, Dr. Folakemi Olomojobi, described the gesture as the fulfillment of the governor's promise to improve the welfare of pensioners, saying it also serves as strong motivation to serving officers that have a secure future ahead of them.
Still glued to the leadership newspaper this morning, 2 suspects, human traffickers, arrested. However, the State Command of the Nigerian Forest Security Services has arrested 2 suspects for their alleged involvement in the trafficking of girls for prostitution in Ghana. Briefing the newsmen in Abakaliki, the state capital, the State Commander of NFSS, Mr. Larry Igwe, confirmed this rescue of one of the victims, Miss Faith Nwazuko from Easy local government area, who he said is a 9-month pregnant girl who was deported from Ghana. He said that the 2 suspects were later arrested by personnel of the services and have been handed over to the Nigerian police for proper investigation and possible prosecution in line with the criminal law. Mr. Igwe also disclosed that the services have also arrested many robbery and kidnap suspects since 2023 to date, adding that their efforts have helped other security agencies in the state to curb crimes. He noted that they are also committed to assisting the state governor, Francis Nwifuru, whose administration to maintain peace and security in the state. He pointed out that the Nigerian Forest Security Services, NFSS, will continue to work on its area of jurisdictions to curb crimes in the country.
And moving to the Daily Post newspaper, Tinubu's presidential pardon trigger public outrage. We call that President Bola Tinubu exercising his constitutional power on prerogative of mercy pardon 175 Nigerians convicted for various offences ranging from drug trafficking to murder, armed robbery and illegal mining, among others, and who are serving various times in prison, including death sentence. Ordinarily, the president should be receiving accolades for such an action, but the reverse has been the case. Tinubu has been under fire, particularly for extending such pardon to drug traffickers and murderers who are supposed to serve long term in prison and have only served barely 2 years. The argument in some quarters is that the president's action would only embolden others who want to peddle drugs illegally into believing that even when they are caught, they will only get a light punishment and eventually pardon. There are those who have argued that the president's actions run contrary to the avowed government position against drug trafficking. Those on this side of the argument believe that the much touted slogan of waging war against drug trafficking is just a veil cast on Nigerians. Yet there are others who are worried by how the outside world will perceive Nigerians. They are worried that the international community will see Nigeria as a trading hub and safe haven for drug traffickers. The likes of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai, civil society organizations and political parties have all spoken out condemning the president's action and warning of its dire consequences for the country. But there is really consequence on it too, because leaving these people that are into all this in the sea drug traffickers too, they will still continue be doing, because they know that they will later pardon them even though they were caught.
Exactly. I think we read a news about this yesterday and we were like since they've released some people now, that does not mean that does not stop them to commit crime again, and for them to just feel like, I think it's expected already, they already know that okay, they are going to release them and all, and for in Amdikanu's issues, I think there has been a protest that they should release him because they've
released more drugs. Look at it. Look at the man is a terrorist. At least you release a drug trafficker, murderer that they even gave life sentence. They are released. Yes, why the man was not released? Well, it's left to President Tinubu to make amends to this, but people are really tackling with decision.
We just have to be safe out right there, because it's not easy of us. And again, it is. I'm not saying that the governor the president made a wrong decision, but it's not supposed to be for him to just pardon them like that and all. Now the Nans are outside now talking about how to release Nnamdi Kanu, that it's unfair. He released some inmates who their crimes are even though Nnamdi Kanu we can't say his own crime is that small, but then the president should try as much as possible to look into it. Still glued to the leadership newspaper this morning, Cross River Varsity lecturers to join strike. Academic Staff Union of University, ASU, at the University of Cross River State, Unicross branch, has announced its intention to join the nationwide strike action. The decision comes after the National ASU declared the strike to address various grievances, including the implementation of agreements, payment of withheld salaries, and improved welfare packages for lecturers. According to the chairman of the Unicross branch of ASU, Dr. Patrick, the union will participate in the strike because it uses the same consolidated university template for salaries as other federal institutions. He emphasized that the union's decision to join the strike is based on the fact that they are affected by the same issues that prompted the National ASU to declare the strike. The strike is expected to disrupt academic activities at the university, and the union has urged its members to observe the strike in accordance with the national directive. Despite the federal government's warning that it will enforce the no work, no pay policy during the strike, ASU remained resolute in its demand for better working conditions and improved university funding.
As statement to daily process paper, NANS releases program for nationwide protest. The National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, has released a program to participate in the Free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu Mazi protest scheduled for October 20th, 2025. This was disclosed yesterday in a statement by NANS President Atiku Issa. According to the statement, the resolution to mobilize students for the protest was reached at non-executive meeting chaired by Issa. NANS noted that the mobilization is part of the collective demand for justice, civil rights, and democratic accountability in Nigeria. The student plan protest comes at a time when Nigerian government-owned universities have been shut down due to strike action by the Academic Staff Union of Universities since yesterday. Development comes after former president candidate and activist Oyerinde had announced October 2025 for a protest march to the presidential villa to demand the release of Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. Nnamdi Kanu has been under the custody of the Department of State Service since June 2021 when he was rearrested in Kenya. This may gather that there have been several calls on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to release Kanu. It's also good with the first news we read that
Yes.
people are really coming out to protest that they release Nnamdi Kanu.
So do you feel like if they release Nnamdi Kanu, is that the next thing for them to release Nnamdi Kanu, since the president had released some inmates? Is it still right for him to release Nnamdi Kanu, even despite the protest or the protest outbreak? Is it still proper for the president to release?
I don't think he's really that proper, but for me, the president should release just one class for traffic. I think he should also look into this.
Even about the lady who killed her husband, I think the family of the husband said they have not forgiven her yet. Even if the president had released her, but they are not still satisfied with what the president did. Moving to the nation newspaper this morning, First Lady gets Qatar Foundation's green light for Almajiri's out of school children's education. The Qatar Foundation had pledged to support Nigerians' renewed efforts to reform the Almajiri and out-of-school children education system. The foundation promise followed a meeting between the First Lady Senator Oyerinde Tinubu and the foundation's founder, Her Highness Sheikha Musa bint Nasser Al-Misind in Doha. Mrs. Tinubu, who led the Nigerian delegation, sought the foundation's collaboration to address the challenge of more than 15 million out-of-school school children in Nigeria, the highest number globally. According to the First Lady, the federal government, through the Ministry of Education, is embarking on a transformative model of Almajiri education schools that will integrate both Islamic and formal education. In a statement released in Abuja by our Senior Special Assistant on Media, Sola Kukoyi, the First Lady said, these schools will host and care for children in a safe learning environment, including mosque for worship, skills acquisition facilities, and boarding accommodations for students, imams, and caregivers. Mrs. Tinubu noted that the scale of the challenge required strategic international partnerships, adding, given the magnitude of this challenge and the competing demands on our national resources, Nigeria cannot achieve this alone. Your Highness represents precisely the kind of visionary partner who can help us make this dream a reality.
Heading to the Guardian newspaper, NANS proposes November 2026 for next general elections. Nigerian election timetable is set for a major shake-up as the National Assembly proposes that the 2027 presidential and governorship election held in November 2026, 6 months before the end of the current administration's tenure. The move, which formed part of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2025, aimed to allow all election litigations to be concluded before the May 29, 2027 swearing-in of the new leaders, ending the tradition of pending court cases dragging into the new government term. While political parties and other stakeholders are pushing for both electoral and reform, including holding elections in one day, a judge is exploring the use of blockchain technology to enhance the effectiveness of these reforms. The United Kingdom also expressed readiness to partner with Nigeria in strengthening its democratic processes through the amendment of the Electoral Act 2022. The draft amendment was unveiled yesterday during a public hearing jointly organized by the Senate and House Committee on Electoral Matters in Abuja, drawing wide interest from politicians, civil society, and independent National Electoral Commission (INEC). Under the proposed amendments, election into the office of President and Governor are to be held not later than 185 days before the expiration of the incumbent tenure. Thus, the calculation point directly to November 2026 as the new poll date, 3 months earlier than the traditional February or March election window. Section 4.7 of the draft read, election into the office of the President and Governor of each state shall be held not later than 185 days before the expiration of the term of office at the last order of the office. The chairman of the House Committee on Electoral Matters, Adebayo Balogun, explained that the reform is aimed at ensuring that all disputes arising from the polls are settled before the winners take office.
On the Nation newspaper, lastly, on the Nation newspaper, FCCPC backs central bank's 48-hour refund for customers. The Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission (FCCPC) has announced its support for the Central Bank of Nigerian (CBN's) draft guidelines requiring all banks to refund customers' money in cases of failed automated teller machine (ATM) transactions within 48 hours. In a statement by its Director of Corporate Affairs, Najeebat Oyerinde, the FCCPC said the exposure of the CBN's draft guidelines on the operations of automated teller machines in Nigeria followed the Commission's Consumer Complaints Data Report published last month. The
the voice of the people.